Some books get all the attention, and others just quietly blow your mind while no one's talking about them. Today, I'm sharing a few underrated gems that deserve way more love. And to be fair, some of these books do get talked about a little bit. I even found a couple of them through other booktubers. But still, if people are reading these, why aren't we talking about them more? These are books that surprised me, stories that stood out because they did something different or because they took risks that paid off. They might not all be five-star reads, but every single one has something unique about it. Maybe the writing style hooked me, maybe the concept blew my mind, or maybe it's just one of those stories that stuck with me long after I finished it. Whatever the reason, they all deserve a little more love and maybe a spot on your TBR. So without further ado, let's get to the list, in no particular order. The Passengers by John Mars. Many people are familiar with John Mars's The One, a book about a near-future dating service that matches people based on DNA compatibility. Others might know his follow-ups, The Marriage Act and The Family Experiment. But between those, Mars wrote two other books in his so-called Dark Future series published by a different publisher. And while I really liked The One, The Passengers was amazing. The setup is brilliant. Imagine self-driving cars have become the norm, and one day, 8 of them get hijacked at the same time. The passengers are trapped inside, and a mysterious hacker announces that in just a few hours, 7 of them will die, and only one will survive, chosen by the public watching it all unfold online. What follows is this wild mix of social commentary, thriller, and moral debate. Kind of like Black Mirror meets Speed. The tension never lets up, and the characters all have secrets that make you question who actually deserves to live. It's fast-paced, it's thought-provoking, it'll definitely make you side-eye your Tesla for a few days. If you've ever read The One but somehow skipped The Passengers, do yourself a favor, pick it up next. Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. Speaking of characters with secrets, let's talk about this one. This one actually came recommended by my wife, and she nailed it because it's one of the most fun mysteries I've read in a long time. First of all, that title. It grabs you right away, doesn't it? And the best part is it actually delivers on that promise. Every single member of this deeply dysfunctional Australian family has in one way or another killed someone. The story kicks off when they all gather for a family reunion at a ski resort, and of course, someone winds up dead. Our narrator, Ernest Cunningham, writes how-to books for aspiring mystery writers, and he tells the story directly to the reader, breaking the fourth wall in this self-aware, tongue-in-cheek kind of way. He even promises to follow the rules of fair play for detective fiction and tells you who dies, and even what pages the murders happen on. And yet, it's still full of surprises. This book is clever, funny, and surprisingly heartfelt. Stevenson manages to parody the golden age whodunit while also creating one that genuinely works. And if you enjoy this one, good news, there are a couple more books featuring Ernest Cunningham that follow that same smart, twisty style. Basically, if you like Knives Out, Only Murders in the Building, or any good murder mystery that doesn't take itself too seriously, you're going to love this one. All right, let's shift gears from darkly funny to just dark. The Caretaker of Lornfield by Dave Zeltzerman is one of those books that creeps up on you, literally and figuratively. The premise is simple but totally unsettling. For generations, the caretakers of Lornfield have been responsible for weeding this one specific patch of land every single day. Why? Because if they don't, the weeds will grow into monsters and destroy the world. Our main character, Jack Durkin, is the current caretaker, and he takes his job deadly seriously. The problem is, no one else in town believes him anymore. They think he's just a crazy old man wasting his life pulling weeds, and the book keeps you constantly guessing. Is Jack right, or is he losing his mind? What I love about this story is that it never fully lets you off the hook. Even by the end, you're not sure what's real, and that ambiguity makes it so memorable. It's part psychological horror, part modern fable, and part slow motion tragedy. It's a short book, but it's stuck with me for years, and if you like stories that mess with your head and make you question what's true, this one's a hidden gem. After something dark and claustrophobic like Lornfield, let's zoom out, way out, with The First 15 Lives of Harry August by Claire North. The setup here is fascinating. Harry August is born, lives his life, dies, and then is born again, as the same person in the same place with full memory of all his past lives. You'd think a story like that could get repetitive, but Claire North turns it into something completely original. Each life gives Harry a new chance to make different choices, to learn more, and to shape the world in ways both small and huge. It's part sci-fi, part philosophical drama, and it really digs into what it means to live and relive your life with all the consequences that come with it. I remember being completely drawn in by how clever it was, but also by how human it felt. It's not just a time loop story, it's about guilt, redemption, and what you do when you have infinite second chances. Basically, if you like your sci-fi with a heavy dose of moral reflection, something like Cloud Atlas meets Groundhog Day, this book is absolutely worth your time. And now let's move on to one of my favorite Star Trek tie-in authors' original works, The Midnight Front by David Mack. This one is such a unique blend of genres, part dark fantasy, part historical fiction, with a dash of supernatural thriller thrown in for good measure. It's set during World War II, but instead of just the battlefields we know, Mack imagines a secret magical world happening alongside it. Sorcerers on both sides, Nazi and Allied, summoning demons and casting deadly spells to gain the upper hand. What makes it work so well is that it feels grounded. The magic has rules and consequences, and the characters pay a real price for using it. It's got the grit and moral complexity of something like Saving Private Ryan or Fury, but filtered through the kind of occult horror you'd see in Hellboy or The Devil's Advocate. It's also the start of a trilogy, the second book being The Iron Codex, and the third being The Shadow Commission. And while it's fast-paced and cinematic, it never loses its emotional core. Mack balances big, high-stakes moments with some really powerful character development, which is what he's always done best. In short, this one's an absolute gem for anyone who likes their history with a touch of horror and their fantasy with real-world weight. From a magical war to a cursed videotape, let's talk about The Ring Trilogy by Koji Suzuki. Most people know The Ring from the 2002 American movie or the original Japanese film Ringu, but before either of those came the novels, and they're on a whole other level. The first book sets up that now famous premise, a videotape that kills anyone who watches it 7 days later. But Suzuki takes what could have been a straightforward horror story and turns it into something much bigger. Part science fiction, part mystery, and eventually something else entirely. I honestly didn't expect it to go where it did, but it all connects in such a cool, unexpected way. Across Ring, Spiral, and Loop, the story keeps widening in scope. What starts as a creepy urban legend becomes this sprawling, eerie exploration of science, consciousness, and what it even means to be human. If you only know The Ring from the movie, you're missing out on just how layered and ambitious the source material really is. These books are eerie, smart, and just the right kind of weird. And I mean that in the best possible way. The Ring Trilogy. So there you have it. 5 plus a trilogy. Underrated gems that deserve a lot more love. They might not all be perfect, but each one did something bold, surprising, or unforgettable. And honestly, that's what I love most about reading. Finding stories that take chances and stick with you long after you've closed the book. Have you read any of these? Or do you have any of your own picks for underrated books more people should know about? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my other reviews and bookish lists. Thanks for watching, and happy reading.